above all else, we are committed
the care and improvement
to the care and improvement of human life.
Every day I was stressed out. I'd been feeling so bad that I started fantasizing about how I could just escape my pain. It could end. I don't have to feel this way anymore if I don't want to. I had never even held a real gun.
Mental illness and even suicide does not discriminate against race, creed, religion, color, economic status, or education. And for every one suicide death, there are 25 attempts. Those are staggering numbers.
I love historic architecture. I can look at historic buildings all day long. And I had my eye on this building because I saw it in the neighborhood I was driving by. I've never owned a commercial building. I've never done a historic renovation, just had never entered that arena, but I just decided that I wanted to do something really big that was just going to force me to get out there, and I became this hero in the neighborhood. So it was very rewarding, but also I was pushed into the public eye, and I felt a lot of social pressure. I was just at the end of my rope trying to manage everything, and then I was still working this other part-time job while I was trying to get the building finished. My builder left, and then the architect left, and then I felt very alone in all this. And all of a sudden I noticed I was struggling with anxiety.
When someone's dealing with a mood disorder and the depression is mounting and the anxiety is mounting, you're not in a good state of mind to make other good rational decisions.
I went to my regular nurse practitioner about it, and they just gave me a medication to take as needed. Then over time, the anxiety became more and more frequent. I was taking it up to 3 times a day, then up to 4 times a day. I felt like it wasn't even working anymore. I just couldn't manage everything by myself, so I asked my husband for help, and he started helping me. So he actually left his job when we were coming to the completion of the project.
It was almost like a perfect storm of things that were going on. It was the financial stress. It was, her ongoing depression issues. The lows were getting lower.
Is it because I'm feeling pressure? Is it something going on with me chemically, hormonally? So my primary care doctor put me on an antidepressant. And on top of that, I had taken a liken to moonshine. Stress, Xanax 3 times a day. Pressure, moonshine, couple shots. Stress, anxiety, Xanax 4 times a day. Stress, Xanax 3 times a day. Pressure, moonshine 4 times a day.
Our natural tendency is that we're going to do everything possible to try to look normal to the outside world. We don't want to be vulnerable and say, I need help. If we can get that first step and we can get someone here in the door, most people are going to go back to having a very productive, healthy life. If we don't make that first step and we continue just kind of trying to make it by, that's when you're not going to be able to reverse the outcome.
My husband and I had worked on a Saturday, and I came home, and we had an argument. Something that I said, he approached me about something, and I was just already worn so thin that I just snapped.
She basically said to me that, when you're angry with me, it makes me despise myself, and I feel like hurting myself. It was just a statement. It didn't seem to me like a threat of immediate action.
So I got up and stormed out of the room. I was feeling so bad that it made me feel better to think, well, I could just take this whole thing as sleeping pills and then just not wake up. Or my husband's got a gun in the house. I can find that gun and just shoot myself.
Everyone at some point has thought about their death, or that maybe it would be, maybe I just wish I were dead. But typically, we're going to immediately pull ourselves back. When someone begins thinking about it on a regular, routine basis, and thinking of it in a sense of relief, that is when it becomes a lot more serious.
I could not put my finger on that trigger, and I could not even imagine really turning it on myself and shooting myself. I knew I couldn't do that, but I was playing with it, and I felt powerful, and I put my finger on, what was, I guess, the safety latch, and I pulled that back, and the gun went off, and I shot a hole through the wall.
I heard this noise, and it took a second for me to realize what that noise was. And then it was just like everybody always says, it felt like I was in slow motion. I'm like running into the bedroom, and I'm yelling, and I didn't know what I was going to find.
This was the moment that they had the opportunity to continue to be in this very dark, scary place, or they had the opportunity to be vulnerable and ask for help and to say, what do we do with this? We can't handle this anymore.
We checked into the emergency room at Skyline Medical in Nashville. So they had checked me in, and then my husband was sitting with me as I'm there in my hospital gown, and they said somebody would come and pick me up and take me to Skyline Madison campus. So I was just waiting, and my husband was waiting with me. I said, if you want to go home, I could just call you when I get to the other place, and you can come there. So he said, yeah, maybe I'll do that. I show up at this hospital, and they're taking me in on the little ambulance stretcher thing. I just didn't know what was really going on. It was just the strangest feeling. I'm in this waiting room, and I don't understand what's going on, and why can't my husband come and see me?
Facility you're at where a doctor might have felt that you weren't safe to go. I want you to understand we're all here to help you, and I want to reassure you that we are here for you. And
So they checked me in upstairs and even took the bobby pins out of my hair, and I had no idea what I was getting into.
She was scared. Of course she was scared. Wouldn't you be scared to be admitted in a psychiatric hospital?
I need my vitamins, I need my clothes, I need my routine, I need my medications, and I don't have a say as to being able to come and go as I please.
When someone is an involuntary patient, that can seem scary when you've never heard of that before, because it feels like your rights are being taken away. But truly, from a healthcare perspective, it simply is going to be a way to get that patient the help that they need and they deserve, even if they're not feeling ready.
I met with Dr. Drimer when I first was admitted.
This is the moment that I think it's one of the most important when we evaluate a patient, to let them know that we are there to listen.
When I briefly told her my story, and then she asked me what I was taking, she said, "This is making you worse."
Why should she use a strong benzodiazepine, which is addictive, when we can teach her some relaxation technique?
I realized it was good that I was in a protected environment with a schedule, with a doctor and nurses who are watching out for my care.
We have a unique ability here to take the patient from an almost ER type setting. They stay anywhere up to 2 weeks, and then after that they continue in the same campus, but they go to the intensive outpatient or the partial hospitalization program. It's teaching people that you can be successful and that we can help you learn to work through your problems and to face the demons that are haunting you.
I knew that I needed to remove myself from my life, take a break, and get myself well and let people help me.
Day after day, Karen improved. She was less anxious, and I told her that I am very proud that she took this so serious.
When I showed up on Sunday, she was more level, a lot more present. I was seeing glimpses of my wife.
As soon as I got out of the hospital, the next day I was in outpatient care, which I'm continuing in right now.
I first met Karen for her initial assessment following her discharge from inpatient at our facility here. I remember specifically Karen expressing in group about her buildings, the building space that she had, if whether she was going to be able to keep the office or the shop that she had there, or whether she needed to rent it out to a tenant. She was a little too quick wanting to jump back into her everyday routine, which is kind of what got her so overwhelmed that she needed help in the first place. She began to share more about what she was experiencing and feeling and giving feedback to her peers when they were sharing, and really saw a change in how she was participating in group.
It's so much more effective than anything I tried to do on my own, just one-on-one, going to a therapist. Another barometer that I had of how I was doing before I went in the hospital and now has been my relationship with my husband.
There was still some adjustment going on when she got out, but overall, she was doing great. We even had a group session, me, Karen, and a counselor on the phone.
When we start getting back into spending less time here and more time outside, we definitely try to encourage family meetings to help kind of get everyone on the same page as far as how family members can support their loved ones in their recovery.
Just had some great tools to work with that really helped her and are helping her in her recovery.
All of a sudden, our relationship was entirely different. And I realized that when I changed, we changed. I needed to just put the brakes on, just stop everything, and just not continue to live stressed out and on the edge like I was. So
It takes a lot of energy and courage to do what she's doing and let other people know that there is a place and there is a time that they need to ask for help.
I started talking more freely about being in the hospital, and a lot more people have been in this program than I would have thought or realized.
This is part of her testimony. This is part of who she is, that she can share her story, and it's something that could possibly help someone else.
It's put a conviction in me that just sharing and being vocal about it is the way that people are going to get help.
We have to get beyond the label and get to the person, because receiving treatment can truly change someone's life and those around them and get them to a better place. We are ready. We are here. We do not sleep, and you shouldn't hesitate to reach out.
Mental illness is not a personal failure. Our mission is to care about the patient, to listen to their stories, not to judge them, and to give them hope for a better life.
I'm just rediscovering, or just getting back to just how to be my authentic self.
I feel like I'm seeing, the woman that I fell in love with and married again.
This changed my life, and it saved my life. I can't imagine where I would be if I kept going the way I was going. It's like I'm starting over again. It's like I'm starting a new life.